United North announced today it is postponing this year's Polish festival on LaGrange Street. That's a sad announcement for some ladies who are very active in the Polish community.
I bought big potatoes so you don't have to peel them. So
yeah.
It's a one big hand. So.
A culture survives through its people.
You have to be strong and keep going.
And their traditions.
We're using our own recipe to be Polish as possible.
And in Toledo, the Polish culture has thrived thanks to ladies like these. Staying busy making pierogies and kraut balls.
They consist of kraut, pepper, lots of pepper.
Each is active with various Polish groups. The Polish festival is a highlight.
It was like a big family reunion. You had the Polish music, the Polish bands, the Polish food.
For more than 30 years, the Polish festival on LaGrange was the big event for their community.
What's that smell? Stanley!
There are still a lot of Polish people left in the neighborhood.
But today, bad news. United North, which has run the festival for years, announced today that it is reevaluating and doesn't have time to plan this year's festival.
You know, I'm disappointed as anybody else, really.
People have complained about security and fewer crowds, even talked about moving it off LaGrange Street. The festival was a time to introduce the culture to new people, a time for kids to perform after working hard all year learning an ethnic dance.
It's hard for them to just come and practice if they don't see the results from it, you know.
But this year, no festival. And the concern is once lost, it will never come back.
It dies slowly, but pretty soon, is it going to be alive? Is there going to be any Polish culture left?
But can a culture really die?
She can have enough filled in there for nothing.
With ladies like these?
And all of a sudden, I'm telling her, I've made hundreds of pierogies today.
Those ladies were delightful. The pierogies and the kraut balls they made are being sold at a fundraiser at the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America Hall on North Detroit, April 7th. It will take Polish events like that to make up for the canceled festival, if that's even possible, Diane.
If you lived in Toledo, surrounding areas for any length of time, you've heard of Opal. And when there's an election for mayor, count on her to be on the ballot.
But why does she do it? That's what 13 ABC's Bill Hormann wanted to know. He joins us now with the answer, Bill.
Lee and Diane, Opal Covey is running for mayor without any media advisor, no campaign staff. She has no money, but she believes she has a higher power on her side, guiding her through another race. Opal, there are a lot of people who complain about the city of Toledo, and you're in there fighting.
Yes.
Every time there's an election for mayor, you're there.
Yes.
What does that say about you?
It says that I'm a fighter. I'm not going to give up. I don't care if I'm 100.
You can call her feisty, even eccentric, but don't call her uncommitted. Opal Covey is running for mayor again, and she believes this is her time. This is the 6th time you've run for mayor.
Absolutely.
What keeps you going?
God's spirit. Absolutely.
So you're trying to fulfill his will?
Absolutely.
Then why is Toledo consistently resisting this?
Because that's the condition they're in. So many demons here.
She claims her campaign's been targeted by violence and voter fraud, but she's still fighting, battling for the Lord, trying to save Toledo from what she sees as corruption and incompetence. How much of the Lord's message is part of your message to the city of Toledo, and how much of your message is politics and policy?
Well, I don't claim anything on politics. It's government. It's love. It's bringing the people out of slavery. Vote for Opal.
In this campaign, Opal produced a YouTube video. Others have produced dozens more that are unflattering to say the least. But she's proud of the notoriety and is convinced people are responding to her message. This is your 6th time.
Yes.
Could there be a 7th time? 8? 9?
Who knows? Opal's going to keep doing what God tells her to do and not what man does.
Now, for some, Opal is a target for ridicule, but Opal Covey puts herself out there. She faces long odds, but she doesn't give up. And that could be a lesson for all of us.
ABC's Bill Hormann found 3 companies that will feel the impact.
Yeah, these are companies that will either benefit from the Andersons closing down or will just miss having the Andersons shelves to stock their locally made products.
Got a total of 1603.
You would think a small company like Oaks Feed would get crushed by a big store like the Andersons, but instead,
Those are all new products that we picked up.
the company is stocking brands the Andersons sold,
The Nature's Window Apple Orchard.
like Birdseed and various dog food brands like Best Breed.
It's been selling a lot more. I'd say we've already picked up at least 20%.
And Oaks, the small guy, has outlasted the big boy.
We just do stick to one thing and try to do it as good as we can, and we've been here 82 years now.
Over at Bolin Label Systems, labels continue to roll off the line. They used to make deli labels for the Andersons,
We may have done, a couple thousand rolls.
perhaps 1 million a year. Labels the Andersons will no longer need, but it's just a small dent in Bolin's national bottom line.
Our business has grown enough that we will be able to recover from that.
The Anderson stores are not restocking, and many items are selling out. Food items are still being restocked, though, like Almandina brand biscuits made here in Maumee.
When we sold to the Andersons, it came from our kitchen.
Yuval's grandmother Dina came up with the recipe 90 years ago. He's turned it into a nationwide business over the last 30 years, and the Andersons was his first store.
From the kitchen, I took a few cookies. I asked to see Dick Anderson. I went to his office. He tasted it and said, okay, go down to the food buyer. And that's how it started.
That's how a lot of local companies started, at the Andersons. Some thrive beyond the Anderson stores. Others keep it simple, but the Andersons will be missed.
It's really iconic. It's not just a store.
We talked to another company, Marsh's Buckeyes. The Andersons was their first store as well. You can still find them, though, in Cracker Barrel and Kroger, and the owner told me today they will miss the Andersons just like everybody else.